Hello, I seem fun friends. Here's your quick intro. Thanks to everyone who came to the Hollywood Improv Lab to see the live taping of I Seem Fun. I had a great time. And we're going to do another one in September. Tickets are already on sale. Just go to my website, JenKirkman.com, click on tour dates. And in the show, I mentioned my upcoming gigs in Scottsdale, Arizona, Helium Comedy Club Buffalo in New York State, and Portland, Oregon, Helium Comedy Club. As for Buffalo, I won't be back to Buffalo or Arizona in 2017. So don't miss me. If you live anywhere near there, drive out. It's going to be worth it. And don't forget that in Portland, one of those gigs is an I Seem Fun live taping. So again, all this is on my website, JenKirkman.com. Click tour dates. The most important is October 1st, Bowery Ballroom. It is my comedy special taping. Again, tickets at the door are a thing. You can, unless it sells out, which it probably will, but I'm sure there'll always be a little bit at the door because people flake, and I think they hold a certain amount aside to sell at the door. But it's going to be a nightmare because there's going to be so many people and camera crews and all this. And we really need to start on time. And here's the thing. We need to know how many people are coming for so many technical aspects. And I don't want to have to go higher audience, but if enough people don't buy tickets by a certain point, we've got to do that cheesy thing where we send out notices to an audience service. I don't think we're going to have to do that because it's New York City and that's my biggest fan base. That's why I picked it, and because I love that city. But it's $12. I kept it $12 so that people could buy in advance without stressing too much. I know people are very, very broke, and $12 can sometimes be a lot of money, but please try to get them in advance, and they are available now. The 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. show, Saturday, October 1st, and they're on my website, JenKirkman.com. Click tour dates. And there's no drink minimum at a place like that, so it's just $12. Maybe there's a little service fee or something. I actually don't know, but just fucking get the tickets. And yeah, that would be so helpful. If I can see a sellout, at least on one of the shows, by September 5th, I'll be really happy. I'll be ecstatic and relaxed if when I go under my anesthesia the morning of August 31st, I find out that the early show has sold out. I will. I really will. Okay, that's it. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to producer Mike. Made a live appearance tonight. I mean, no one saw him, but he was there. He was there. Thank you to everyone who helps me with this podcast. Everyone at All Things Comedy. I am part of the All Things Comedy Network. Go to their website, allthingscomedy.com. You always ask me, what other podcasts do you listen to, Jen? A lot of them are on that network. So go check it out. Find ones for yourself that appeal to you. It is a quality comedy podcast network run by comedians, and you are supporting comedy on so many levels by supporting the podcasts of this particular podcast network. And the I Seem Fun email address, iseemfun@gmail.com. Send me a letter. It can be an interesting story or fact that you want to share with the world. It can be about any of the topics we talk about on I Seem Fun. It can be follow-ups to things you've written in about. It can be advice you have for other I Seem Funners on previous episodes. And even though their lives may have been handled by now, I bet it could help other people. You can talk about things you find fun that other people don't, or things you don't find fun that you don't get what the fuck other people like about it. And also, don't forget, the community of I Seem Fun on Facebook is where I go. Since I'm not on Twitter on my own anymore, there is still the Twitter account at I Seem Fun Podcast, where you will see pictures and all kinds of tweets and fun things. And retweeting whatever. Sorry, I can't speak. But anyway, but Facebook.com/iseemfun is where we all go together. The new episode descriptions are posted every week, and you can comment on things about the episode. And Instagram is just me at Jen Kirkman. There is no I Seem Fun Instagram account. Let's keep it all under my roof. And God, what the F? Oh, geez. I sold some merchandise at the show tonight. We've got Keep Calm and Seem Fun posters. Posters of me giving the finger. We've got Rich Bitch mugs. Mugs that say, fuck the haters. Beautiful, full color I Seem Fun mugs with the logo. The picture of me yelling into the phone. All of those. And a bunch of t-shirts. So many different kinds of t-shirts, you can't believe it. All on my website, jenkirkman.com/merch. Or just go to the merchandise page. Okay. Here's this week's episode.
I see the fun. I see the fun. The Diary of Jen Kirkman podcast.
Hello, I Seem Fun friends and friends of I Seem Fun friends. I am Jen Kirkman. This is episode... I forgot to look. Producer Mike's here. Do you know what episode this would be? 140 something? Good one. Thank you. I've got to announce it at the beginning. I'm going to go on my iTunes right now. Do I subscribe? I do. This is... Oh, I stopped putting the numbers about 5 weeks ago. Oh, they don't show up on iTunes. Well, I don't know where else I put them. Facebook. Hang on. We're going to look. We don't need to do this, but now how many people do not listen to this podcast? I'm not asking because I want to shame you. I need to know for myself so I can give an explanation of something or not. So clap if you have never heard this before. It's too many. Why would you come? Okay, this is episode 145. Yes. Why would you come to something that you don't know what it is, and you're not going to like it? Like, it's not, there's no guests. I talk off the top of my head. It's not my stand-up. You're not going to like it. But you will be wrong. You'll be wrong not to like it, because it's like a whole thing that we've cultivated over years together. And the people that like it are really great. People that don't, can't help you. No, I'm sure you'll love it. Okay, I brought my hot water kettle on stage. I know Dax said no photography, but he didn't know. He was dealing with me. I would love you to take my picture and tweet it and say, this is so funny. I love I Seem Fun. Please, though, I turned 42 on Sunday, and thank you. And, yes. And I'm having I don't know if this happens to anyone else. The week before your birthday, you feel so ugly. I don't know what it is. Like, do you know how, like, right when you decide, when your hair is making you crazy and you hate it, and then you decide to get it cut, and then that day it's so amazing, and you almost feel bad, like, I can't believe I'm going to cut you. Like, so the week before my birthday, I always felt gross. I feel like my skin is 10 different colors. It feels dull. I just feel gross. I tried to put on I had a blue pantsuit to wear for you with gold shoes. I felt bloated. It looked stupid. Everything feels, and so I'm wearing what I call, like, it's like a fun, you'd see it in, like, on Pinterest, like street fashion, like that, like off-duty model, but you have to be so skinny to wear something like that it looks like, oh, she's just trying to cover it up, but this looks like, oh, she might fill that out. We don't know. So, anyway, so I thought that'd be a fun outfit, and then when I sit on stage, and then I'm like, oh, God. So, okay, here we're going to talk about, I'm going to read an article to you. We have some listener emails. I had one list. Okay, so I recorded a whole episode last week that wasn't a lie, and I accidentally deleted it. I don't know what happened. It was on my iPad. It was uploading. I left the house. I came back. It was no longer on the app that I recorded on, and I was like, I can't deal with this, so I didn't do an episode. But I answered an entire listener email that I went deep. This person was like, how do I meet men? And I think I said, you need to meet yourself. And I told her not to date for a year. And but I don't remember her name, but I think she'll know if she's listening. I think it was a woman. It was a woman. And she had never dated anyone before, and she was in her early 20s, and it hasn't been going well. And she's like, where do I meet people? And I was like, I don't fucking know where you meet people, because I would just meet comics all my whole life, or I would meet... How would I meet people? Everyone I'm thinking, I'm like, how the fuck did I meet him? I don't know how I meet people, but I've never done like an app or anything like that. But that's the kind of life I lead, is excitement. But maybe if you live in a town and there's not a lot of people there, I don't know how people, but I want to have a couple people answer her question because I don't think mine was helpful. I just got a vibe reading it that this person was maybe thinking a relationship would fix certain things, and I was like, I think if they had hobbies, this is when I know I'm 100. I was telling her, if you have hobbies, do those, and the right person will show up in the hobby situation. What do you do? I said, do you go to the, I said, go to the library or go to a coffee shop. I don't know what, I just feel like imagine if you had like 10 hobbies a week. Remember that episode of The Brady Bunch where Jan kept signing up for things? And she was like, does anyone remember that episode, or was it Marcia? So either one of the girls, it was like the first week of school and she wanted to be popular. So she signed up for every club and she was standing at the wall with her pencil and she was like, Booster Club, this, and then signing. No one here watches Brady Bunch. Okay. Do you know what that episode now? Oh, you do? Okay. I don't know what happened if she became popular. I think the message was you don't have to do all that shit. But I was saying the opposite to this person. Do a lot of activities and you'll just enjoy yourself and you'll get to know yourself better, and that energy will attract someone. I don't know how, or maybe not. I don't know. Or you'll meet someone in your group, but you're not going to go. She said she doesn't like to go to bars and stuff like that. So I just felt like this person might have been a little down on themselves. And I felt like if you take the pressure off and decide to make it a thing that you're not going to date for a year, then you'll always win at that. You can't get that wrong. You can't go, I'm not going to do this. And then there's no one around, so you're not going to break that. So it's great. I think this whole episode, the through line will be relationships, because I went to 2 weddings in the past 2 months, and I have an article here from somewhere about single people being discriminated against. Okay, so now, again, it's not the point of where I was. It's just and everyone who involved in this wedding is lovely. I went to a wedding this weekend. I would say about 500 people were invited. That's not a joke. And I didn't get a +1. Now, it's fine. But it's one of those things where I think only married people got +1s, because it's so many fucking people. Then again, it was local. Let me give you an example. My good friend got married in Cabo in July, and it was only 60 people. That's between her and her husband. They're both 40 and almost 40. They've lived a long life with many friends from many different industries, family members, people that invited them to things. They could only invite 60 people. So that was a small wedding that was very expensive for them. And then Cabo's on an island, but you're on a small thing together, and you don't want riffraff, right? You don't want your loser friend who's like, I just met him 2 weeks ago, and then you can't bring that guy there. Like, our friend that got married in Cabo, we have a mutual friend who at my friend who got married in Cabo, let's call her Jane. Jane, and I have a mutual friend, let's call her Jane number 2. Jane number 2 at Jane's housewarming party fucked her boyfriend in the bathroom of my friend's house, which is fine. Like, they were just more like, why? Like, they just met. It was a new love. They were excited. And it's like, so that's what is Jane 2 the friend? Yeah, that's what Jane 2 brings to the table. A little drama, a little spice. So you get why you don't want to give Jane 1 just a +1 willy fucking nilly, right? And so I get that for that. And so my friend said to me, I know you're in a relationship, but, well, when she first planned the wedding, I wasn't in one. She goes, if you get in one, by the time my wedding comes, you can have a +1, don't tell anyone. And I go, I don't think I want one. I think she invited our other mutual male friend, let's call him Bill. He's like, I don't know why I'm saying different names, but it's not an unhappy story. But Bill's like our mutual male best friend. It's like Three's Company. Everyone's always been platonic. And it was my friend Chris. I wanted to hang out with Chris. And so Chris and I were each other's dates, even though he had a girlfriend and I was in a relationship too. But it was like, we don't need to bother bringing these people into the thing. Like, we want to sit and talk, and it's just so much easier if the two of us are just each other's date, and then we know everyone. And it was actually one of those weddings where you spent time with the bride and groom. And so it was perfect. And nobody there was a riff to the raft. Now, this other wedding I went to last weekend, I don't know who all 500 of these people were, but I bet, having been married myself, just because someone is married doesn't mean that's the best idea for, like, in other words, okay, so I'm married, so I'm considered safe to invite to a wedding because you can't tell someone who's married their date has to stay home. But when I was married, I would have rather had that guy stay home than the current relationship I'm in. I don't want him to stay home, if that makes sense. So, and no one was like, hey, here's your invite. Also, if you're in a relationship, please tell them to stay home. Like, they just, when I got the invite, I don't think they knew, oh, she's back in this relationship she was in before. So that's fine. It was not like my best friend was getting married. Then again, it seemed like only people who were married got +1. So we raised the question, what do you do in that situation? What should society do? Should there be new rules about it? Because I got there and I'm alone and there's nothing wrong. Like, okay, let's put it this way. If I was single, that's great. I would come with a different attitude. Fabulous and single. Hi, everybody. Like, you put your Samantha on, and you're just like, well, who's over there? And you do that. But I had to wade through a bunch of acquaintances I hadn't seen since I got back together with my ex going, maybe you'll meet a guy at the wedding, which is not ever what I would fucking do anyway. And so I'm already angry. I'm going to talk about it in therapy. I felt not seen for who I am. And it's like, just get over it. You're at a wedding, people making small talk. I don't want them to. And so they would say that, and I go, oh, I'm in a relationship. I got back together with my partner. And they go, oh, well, it's still fun to flirt. Oh, really? Why don't you leave your fucking husband at home and whore it up at the table? I noticed it meant something to you to bring your best friend and lover to this wedding ceremony. It's fun to flirt. And by the way, not everything is about a fucking date, man or woman. Like, how about I might just have fun at the wedding because you're all my friends and there's music and there's love in the air and we're all in great outfits. But the people that greet you at the door like that make it fucking seem like it has to be about men and women. And then you get all wrapped up like, it's not about that. But it is, but it's not, but it's okay. And so then there was that conversation I'd have 10 times. And then I started feeling bad, like, oh my God, I'm not close enough with anyone that they know anything about my life. Like, you guys know more, right? And then I started spiraling. Oh my God, if we hadn't broke up 2 years ago and took this 2-year hiatus, then we would be together and it would be an automatic +1. And all of our mutual friends were there and he doesn't know the groom and bride well enough to have gone on his own. And I was like, it was a Saturday night. I hadn't hung out with my guy in a long time, not a long time, but a few days. I wanted to spend a Saturday night with my person. And so I'm not trying to be a baby, but I'm not home a lot. And so I was like, this is kind of annoying. So I feel like in that way, you've got to add a fucking +1. You're asking people to go dateless on a Saturday night into a situation where they might not know anyone, or they might only know couples, or they're being asked to leave their partner at home on their one night free together. Like, why do you get to do that is what I'm wondering. And so, again, if it's not an intimate wedding, like there's only 10 people and I don't even know if the groom can come, then you're like, totally, I won't bring anyone. When there's so many people that you're like, is that a waiter? Is that a person? Not that people aren't waiters. You know what I'm saying? So I was just a little confused. Now, here is the point about that. So then I had to hang out with a lot of couples I know, which is fine. But you could tell that they were trying to have some couple time. And then when first we got there, it was like a reception for 2 hours, just drinks. So that's great. So you can move around. But again, every time I left a couple, I had to go to a new one and do the same thing. Maybe you meet someone here. Like at my age, at 42, at a wedding that's full of professionals in my industry and friends of mine, who am I going to hook up with? First of all, it's all couples. So who am I hooking up with? But let's just say there was someone single there. Unless you deliberately sat them next to me and tried to set me up with them, how am I going to find them? Like, I'm going to go fuck someone I met at my friend's wedding, like a trash person, because again, it's in LA. So where are we going to go? Like at midnight, I'm going to drive someone home to my place. Like, I'm not doing that. It's exhausting. And so I just don't even, it's, you know what it is when people that have been in marriages for so long forget what it was like to either be single or arrive somewhere without your partner. They don't even know what that is anymore. So they say stupid shit like, maybe you'll meet someone, because they're like trying to act like I know what it's like to be alone for 1 second, because I never can be. And so now I'm turning it on them. Like, they don't know how to be alone like me. If I had a +1, I would have. But it'd be like if you suddenly have more money than you ever had and then you forget. And you're like, why can't people just buy a Mercedes, though? I don't get, just buy one. And so So I was very confused about this, and I started to feel bad because everyone that I didn't get a chance to run around and say, I'm not unhappy, I'd be fine if I were single, but I am in a healthy, happy thing, but it's fine, but I'm okay. So there was no, some people were seated with couples. Some single people were seated with couples. I just happened to not get seated with really anyone I knew, except one person, a friend of mine that I ran into at the end of the night, and she and I were both like, we feel kind of bad. And so, but I sat with some people I didn't know. And, I would say there are some of the more busted people at the wedding, if that makes sense, physically and just emotionally. And it was definitely a singles table, but it wasn't like the fabulous fun ones. It was like, if we don't invite these people, there's going to be perhaps an incident. Like we'll never hear the end of it, or they'll reveal something to the media. So I sat down, and I won't say whose side this person was on, the bride or the groom, but it was a woman. And that, again, God bless all his creatures and however he made them look. Oh, by the way, in the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep last night. We'll get back to the busted woman. I woke up I went to bed at 10:30 or 11. I woke up at 11:30. And my body was like, we're done. We're done sleeping. Now we're going to think about death. And so I just kept thinking about it like, God, we're going to die. I'm going to die. I have no idea how. Hope I don't know I go. I wonder if everything I do can bring me comfort until I die, like being in a relationship or doing comedy or seeing my family or having drinks with friends. And I went through each scenario and I went, no. And I couldn't find the comfort by picturing it. And I was like, this feeling I had, I was like, I don't think this is ever leaving. I'm in utter panic. I'll probably have to start doing like really hard drugs. I was like, oh, and then it felt better in the morning. But then I started thinking about God and all this. And then I thought, did I make this up? You tell me if I made this up or not. I think I did, but perhaps it's been said before. If it isn't, I made up a fucking brilliant thing. I think. This was at 3:30 a.m. when I still hadn't fun. I took a melatonin, the kind that's supposed to knock you out in 15 minutes. It never not has done that. Just this one night. And then I took a Klonopin after that because the melatonin didn't work. Then the Klonopin didn't work. And then I was like, well, I'll just see what I think while I lay here. And I thought, because I was getting into a discussion on my Instagram based on this crazy person's bumper stickers on their cars. It was like, I love Jesus, Trump rules, Hillary's a cunt. And I was like, it made no sense. And a lot of people were writing, like, making fun of religion, and that wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to say, this car is in Hollywood, and a family member recently called me a Hollywood liberal, even though I hate it here so much. And I think it's the least liberal place if you've ever pitched a television show to these fucking morons. And so it couldn't be less liberal. Like, I don't know where the liberals are. Maybe there's some Democrats. That's not a liberal. And I'm a Democrat and a liberal, but you know what I'm saying. So I put, the whole point of that post was to say, there's all kinds of people in Hollywood, not just liberals. And I learned to be one in Massachusetts, not even Hollywood. Like, I would never learn anything from any of the fucking idiots that we have to deal with here, right? So, whole conversation about God on my Instagram. I'm trying to keep it posy. I have no opinion on God. I don't have any idea if there is one. It seems crazy to me. It seems also crazy to me that there isn't. Oh. So, don't care. Think it's great. Think it's beautiful. So I thought in bed, so somebody was like, oh yeah, the usual argument, disease, war, famine. Like, oh, God, really great God there. And I was like, that's not what God is. Oh, I'm not going to get into it. And so in the middle of the night, I thought, disease, war, poverty, and famine are not proof that God doesn't exist. Only proof that we do. Get it? It's proof that humans exist. We did that. Perhaps. So did anyone ever say that before? No. You're like, it's not that great. That's why no one said it. Listen, I'm telling you, that's fucking good. You don't think if I said that on Oprah, she'd do like one of her signature, like to the audience, like, we got one here. It's like, and I'd be on like her, Elizabeth Gilbert would start being like, magic time. She had me on her podcast. I mean, that is a good, but maybe you don't get it. What I'm trying to say is that there's a traditional God. He or she made the world and went, you do it. not making wars happen or not happen. We're in charge now. And we take the strength of a higher being to get through all that shit that we made. So again, if anyone asks you, Jen Kirkman said, poverty, disease, war, and famine are not proof that God doesn't exist, only proof that we do. How about humans do? That's better. Okay. So I'm at the wedding, and I sit down. Now, I'd gone to the Dry Bar in Pasadena. Oh, fuck. It doesn't matter if you know where the wedding was. I went to the Dry Bar before the wedding, and I got my hair blown out in a very, they call it the Manhattan, sleek and smooth. And I had it blown out very straight and sleek. Now, men, if you're like, why can't you blow dry your own hair? A blowout is a whole thing. You can't do it yourself. You need two hands, and they make it all sleek, and it's magic, and it's great. You can't do it yourself. So I do it, and they're like, big plans tonight? And I'm like, oh, God, this fucking question. Going to a wedding. Everyone that's going to that wedding has come in here. And then they told me all these details, and people weren't supposed to talk about the wedding. So I was like, these people are snitching. So I get there, and I get to my table, which, again, I had plenty of time socializing before I had to sit down, and you could totally get up from your table, so it wasn't like I was stuck there. And it was just one girl. Again, it's what I was saying about God's creatures. Listen, I never felt more disgusting than I do right now and this week. I just don't feel cute. So when I say someone looks all busted up and 20 years older than she is, I don't mean that to be mean or like I'm better. I just mean that person should not dispense with the hair advice. That's all I'm saying. So this woman, who could have been 35 or 55, an old 35, an old 55 as well. She had what you would call black roots, white blonde hair. I know I've got two different color hair. I hope it looks deliberate. Hers was like, haven't been to the hairdresser in 4 months. Things have been, it was either that or pay off my weed dealer. So I did, I do an at-home thing. I don't think you can tell, though. I think it's pretty good. So, and her hair was very dry. I sympathize with. Do you know that your hair gets older? Like, the other day I looked in the mirror, and one of my brunette pieces was all wiry, like a gray hair is, but I knew it wasn't a piece that was dyed. And I was like, why is it like that? Oh, I'm just older now. Your hair just loses moisture, so you've got that Jill Stein thing going on. And so I have it, and God bless her. She's I voted for her. If it goes to show that you can change, I voted for that dumb maniac 4 years ago because I was protesting Obama's drones. I've done a complete 180 on. I'm not going to talk about it here, but I'm just doing a complete 180 on third-party voting, and I think she's. I don't care if people vote for her. I really don't, but I only care if people attack me and hate mobs on Twitter. Okay, so she. And I hate when women act like you can't say one bad thing about another woman or you're not a feminist. That's not what it means. That's not what it means. It means if I didn't want to hire someone because they had shitty hair, but then I hired a dude with shitty hair because I didn't care, that's sexist. But I don't want shitty hair around me at all, man or woman. You can be bald, work it. Don't give me shitty hair. I won't hire either of you. Go and come back. Go to the Dry Bar, come back, do the interview. So, whatever. I'll never convince some people. So this girl, her hair looks very greasy at the roots. That's all I'm going to say. And she goes to me, oh, why'd I take my mug? I've literally just met her. She gives me the handshake. She goes, who do you know? Whose side are you on? Which I love that that's the question you ask at a wedding. As though they mean whose side of the, are you the bride's side or the groom's side? But it does sound like when this shit goes down in the divorce, whose side are you on? But I said, oh, I know this person. And she said, oh. And I said, she asked what I did. I said, I'm a comedian. She goes, do you know Alan? I go, Alan, is he, like, she could be Alan Havey, someone famous. Alan Cummings, the Broadway star. I don't know what she's talking about. She goes, he's local, Alan. I don't know. I know him a little bit. He's a comedian. And I go, no. And she goes, so maybe you're just starting. Yep, I'm just starting. I'm just brand new because I don't know Alan, whose last name you won't fucking tell me. So she goes, do this to your hair. And I'm so sorry for the listeners at home. She goes, do this to your hair. And then she goes like this to herself. Zhuzh your hair a little bit. I go, no, it's a sleek and smooth blowout. It's not supposed to be zhuzh. It's supposed to be... She goes, it looks too flat on your head. I'm like, you look like if Courtney Love died, decomposed, took her head off, put on the Crypt Keeper head, and then died again. That's what you look like. There's nothing I could tell her to do real quick that would help what she looked like. And I wouldn't think about her looks until she went after my hair. And I went, I like it this way. And she goes, do you know what dry shampoo is? That's like asking, it's so insulting when someone thinks you don't know what a product on the market is. Like I'm so out of it. Or like I came in a tool belt or something with like a mustache growing in, like, what's up, guys? Which would also be fine. But it's like, I said, yes, I do. My hair's not great. It literally just it's 10 minutes washed. It's not, I know, it adds texture. I got it. But I was like, she hasn't washed her hair. She goes, I haven't washed my hair in a week. I just put dry shampoo in it. I'm like, yeah, it looks like that. And you're at the busted people's table who no one loves. Like, legitimately an Island of Misfit Toys table. Like, not only are we single, no one has or will ever loved us. It's not, I'm telling you, there was me and another person that were in a transitional period where we wouldn't have gotten a +1. Everyone else was straight up left to die, you know? And so I don't like to be talked to like that at a wedding, unless you're my best friend in the world. And so I just got up and walked away and went to another table and stood at a table full of couples and just went in between each one, was like, hey, and visited with them for a minute, and then went around to each one until she got up. And then I was jealous because there was a gentleman there in a suit with a giant statement necklace. And I was like, I love him. I don't know if he's gay, straight, whatever he is. He just had a beautiful, like, diamond necklace, like a giant necklace. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, these ornaments on the lamp were like the size of all the things on the... And I was like, oh, that guy's going to be my best friend at this table. And then he started talking to her, like, real up close and, like, intimate. I'm like, what? Why are they best friends? How can he not tell her, your hair looks dirty, sweetie? Like, maybe he was. I don't know. They're in an in-depth conversation. But it brought me to, what do you do? Has anyone here gotten married and restricted the... I just think on a Saturday night, a +1 is a tough thing to not give. Now, imagine, too... and then now I'm this asshole. I was telling a friend who's single, and I go, it's like the worst thing I could imagine. I felt so stupid. She goes, how about not being in a relationship? I go, no, that's better. She goes, no, it is. And I go, yes, it is. Because that's your identity. I'm not in a relationship. So here's how I arrive at the wedding. Not in a relationship. Up for fun. I don't mean meeting a man, but maybe just be the life of the party. Regale people with tales of your trips, whatever. But me, I felt like a baby who no one knows anything about my life, and I couldn't see my partner because I was afraid to ask for a +1. Like, I felt like I was in a more pitiable position. And I had a big argument with a friend who was like, no. And she was like, it's way worse to be single and go to a wedding and not be able to bring someone, knowing there's no one waiting later to see you or the next day. And I was like, I think it sucks either way to just be around couples who look at you like, And so I think that... but what do we do about the +1 thing? Has anyone gotten married and had to restrict the +1s? You did? How did you restrict them? Like, and how big was your wedding? 60 people in your backyard. Okay. Yes. You didn't invite people's boyfriends and girlfriends, but what about people's husbands and wives? Okay, perfect. So they were friends of yours anyway. Right. And then, so the single people, did they know each other? You seem to, you put thought into it. Okay, so you didn't all just jam them in a corner or something like that. Oh, I love it. So I don't know if this for the listeners at home. The bride went to their table to talk to them about. She had a table of the single people that couldn't bring plus ones, and she sat down and facilitated conversations with them about what they had in common. Like, I love the most codependent bride. Like, sorry, I haven't gotten to you guys yet. I've just been just got married. Okay, Marcy loves knitting. John doesn't, but I think there's something cool there. Maybe you could tell him what you like about it, because you had like an I seem fun table, like a everyone's fun is different table. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Then I realized I did that at my wedding. I didn't have, I don't think, but we could only fit like 100 people in this small venue in Massachusetts. And I have 17 cousins. They're all married. And then, well, no children were allowed. But then it's like aunts and uncles. Like, we each had 45 family members between us, and then we had room for like 10 friends to come. And so it was really hard, and I couldn't let people just bring a plus one. But I don't think anyone was single. I actually can't remember because I was selfish that day. Anyway, so we'll get to this article. So I guess I'll read the article now because it goes with it. So let's see if we agree with this. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, I didn't print it out. My computer's dying, by the way. It's just starting to go, and it gets really hot and starts shaking. And then the screen starts looking like a rainbow. Has anyone had this? Does that mean it's dying? Just get a new one, right? Who can deal with that? I think it's time for a new one. I've had it for 4 years, and I feel like that's in computer land. That's old. Is that old? Yeah, it's old. Okay. Just charge it. Am I right, ladies? Okay. This is from, I think it was in the New York Times, but I just copied and pasted it into a Word document. And this might be boring, but who gives a fuck? You have your food. You can. With one in. Oh, and today I was at a coffee shop on West 3rd, and the only people populating it were women alone at their laptops, like 5 women. Or reading, it was just like ladies just unashamed, working, reading. It's great. Okay. When you think about some places in the world, still can't do that. It's great. With 1 in 5 of us living alone, why are women being discriminated against because of their single status? Oh, sorry, guys. I thought this was for both genders. Well, maybe you can relate. Standing on a beach in Goa. I don't know what that is. G-O-A? Where is that? Who? Oh, India. I thought you said Indiana. I'm like, no, it's not. And chatting to other wedding guests, travel writer Mira Datani was having a lovely time. Okay, standing on a beach and chatting to other wedding guests. So she was a wedding guest. Until that is, another guest started talking to her. I was one of the very few singles over 30, and when he found out I was 39 and unattached, he asked me whether I'd given up. I was stunned and said, I'm 39, not dead. For Mira, it was just the latest example of singleism, the outdated attitudes women are often subjected to if they don't have a husband or partner. She says it's like there's a section of society that thinks single women are a bit odd. If you found someone who agrees to live with you and spend time with you, then you get stamped with approval. You've met the requirements of life. If you haven't been validated, I'm doing quotes because that's what the article says, and are single, there can be a suspicion about you that there's something a bit wrong with you. Which, by the way, I know I was implying when I was talking about the busted chick, but I think sometimes there is something wrong with people. There's absolutely something wrong with me. So I relate. But, okay. Mira isn't the only one to experience this prejudice based purely on her relationship status. In fact, singleism is a widespread form of discrimination. So much so, when the TED blog featured a piece from expert Bella DiPaolo in October called The Price of Being Single, it generated thousands of retweets and online comments. Just sounds like someone out of touch wrote that sentence. Singleism is stereotyping, stigmatizing, and discrimination against people who are single. People want to believe that marriage is a transformational experience and that people who get married or are in couples will be happier, healthier, and just better people. That, I've shown in my research, is just not true. The number of single people is growing and growing, yet singleism isn't diminishing. According to the Office of National Statistics, ONS, 22% of women and 28% of men currently live alone in the UK. The number, I guess it's a UK thing. The number has been steadily rising. In 1996, there were 3.9 million women living alone. Now, since 2012, 4.1 million. There will be another, by 2020, there'll be another 2 million households where people live alone. 6 million. This is the worst sentence ever written. Since Sex and the City celebrated single life. No, it didn't. All they did was try to get in relationships. That's literally every episode. I'd go to work today, but I'm trying to get in a relationship. And they all ended up in one at the end. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but this person never watched an episode in their fucking life. I'm going to do a whole I Seem Fun on why the second Sex and the City movie is good, and I want everyone to fucking unsubscribe if they don't think so, and I'll stop doing the podcast. Wait, someone just yelled out something? Amazing. Even the second one where they go to Abu Dhabi. I know. Listen, we're gonna have a big debate because I'm gonna give you time to get your thoughts ready. I'll get mine, and we're gonna like fight it out here. I know why it's bad. I mean, at least I'm not oblivious, but I'll tell you why I skip over what's bad about it. But we'll do that next month, okay? Or maybe not ever. All the big things associated with marriage have come undone, says Bella. Women can support themselves, sure. But who wants to? I'm not even fucking kidding. If my partner made like $20 million and bought an apartment in Tribeca, I'm done. I would blatantly be like, I'm living off of you, and I just want to live like I'm on vacation. Like, I might do an open mic here and there, but... no. Like in other words, I make a living doing comedy, but it's fucking ball-breaking work. So traveling as much as I do to get what I get is a lot to keep up with as I get older and my hair gets more dry, right? It's a lot on the body and the soul. So right now I'm playing a form of the lottery in between gigs, which is trying to sell TV shows and doing this and doing that and hoping that this and the amount of money I want is a lottery. At that point, it's a lottery. You can only work so hard, and then it's either you break or you don't. When my next comedy special comes out, let's say 50 million people watch it, I become hugely famous. Okay, that could happen. It's a lottery. I do the work, I get paid for the special. That's my job. The next level is lottery stuff, and I'm out of control with that one. So if I can win the lottery in a different way, off someone else's money, I'm doing it. Because I'm tired. So, okay. It didn't have to be a romantic partner. If a friend was like, I'm losing my mind, here's 20 million, I would be like, I would not talk them out of it. I'd be like, great. I would be one of those people, like whoever is keeping Richard Simmons hostage. If I was a little more conniving, I would do that to someone like, let me be the executor of your will, and I would just take so much money. Women can support themselves. Advancements in reproductive science mean they can have children alone. That just sounds awful. I mean, if you want to do it, great, but it sounds so tiring. And many are buying houses, too scared to live alone in a house, you know that about me, and not waiting to get married, create a real, meaningful, fulfilling life. That's all true. Yet, single women still encounter prejudice in many different aspects. House buying being one. Rachel, an entrepreneur from Hampshire. I really didn't realize this is the UK. It's way more sexist over there. I just had an experience with the cops. I didn't tell you on this episode. I'll tell you another time. Maybe I'll tell you this time. I will, because I need to act it out physically. I saw a flat I really liked and phoned the estate agent to book in a viewing. He was quite old school and asked me to bring my husband. When I said I wasn't married, he asked me to bring my boyfriend. When I said I was single, he went quiet. At the actual viewing, I don't feel he listened to me and was pointing out the pretty features rather than talking to me seriously about the property. That is crap. I was expected to cover all the awful shifts over Christmas just because I'm single. My colleagues argued that they had events in the diary with their partners that were just so important. And although it was unsaid, I knew they were implying that because I was single, I clearly wouldn't have anyone to let down, which couldn't be further from the truth. You're viewed as less of a valid person. Yep. Stereotypes, this and that. Singles are viewed as more self-centered and less socially mature. That's what makes me crazy. I read a book that was like, really? We're less mature, people who live alone or unmarried or single? We pay our own bills, do everything ourselves. How is that immature? How is that fucking immature? So, this is too British for me. It's like annoying me, so I'm going to stop reading it. But you get the point. It's a real thing. Look for it. It's called singleism. I'll tell you what happened in the U to the K. I was out and I met these two female comics, and I say female because it's important to the story, and they were really cool, and I won't out their names, and they're really nice, and we'd never met, and that we went out after one of my shows, and we're like, oh, let's just go to this little, I was like, I can't go anywhere loud, my voice, I can't drink, my voice, everything, my voice. So we went to this little quiet place, and we're talking, and we're just talking about life or whatever, and these three guys at the bar are watching us the whole time, and we're just waiting. Everyone in the table's in a relationship. We're not interested anyway. And one of them comes over and just sits down. And, like, guys are way more weird in London. Like, in America, they're aggressive, but they're also, like, this is a terrible generalization. Anyone who's been attacked will be like, no. But there's something about, like, you think like a New York guy on the street, like the construction worker, like, hey, honey, and you're like, fuck you. He's like, oh, fuck you. He kind of like goes away. But British guys like up the ante. And so they sat down and they're like, hello, you want to talk to us? And we were like, no, can you leave? We were very polite. We're just, we've just met and we're just talking. And they're like, can we buy a drink? We're like, no, because you don't want to know the drink. We're like, no, because then that means you think you're going to be able to sit with us and it's going to be rude of us to accept a drink. Like, we're all fine. And so then they keep coming back and bothering us. And it got to the point where one girl was like, look, you're being rude and you guys are really drunk and we're actually having a serious conversation. And he was like, oh, and he's like, and so I went up to the bar to get us around and the girls, and the bartender was making them, and I was trying to explain like water with lemon, which wasn't going well. Because I was like, not fizzy water, and so then the guy at the bar was like, one of the boys was like, I'll buy it for you. And I was like, no, I'm not drinking this because I don't have any money. It's my throat. I don't want to get into it. And so then he's like, why can't we come back to the table? He's trying to like ask me on his own. I go, because we're talking about important things. Like literally when girls get together, it's never small talk. I go, she's telling me about one of her friends who has cancer. And this guy, I'm not kidding, picture him played by like Adrian Brody, but with long hair, and it's wild. And he's sitting alone, slumped over the bar. He's not with the three young dudes. And he's probably like 40 or something. But he's scary looking. And he's hunched over the bar. And when he hears me say we're talking about like important things, he goes, what you got to talk about that's so important? My girlfriend died in the bath. And I was like, what? And then he went back and slumped over the bar. And I was like, and so I said to the two bartender ladies, I said, I'm kind of scared of these guys. Can you are there bouncers here that can tell them to leave us alone? And they were like, literally just didn't answer. Just like, no. And so then the bartender guy was like making the drinks, and these boys wouldn't leave us alone. And I went over to the girls. I'm like, this is never going to fucking end because they don't care. And they're like, let's just fucking leave. And so we got up and left. And I was like, the guy was still screaming, she died in the bath. Women don't have any more problems than men do. And I was like, in that scenario, she's the one dead in the bath is the one with the problem. I don't know if you... So, also people die in bathtubs. I don't know why. Maybe she killed herself. I don't know what it was. But if she did, that means she was severely sick. And again, I don't see how... Whatever. Okay, so we leave. We go across the street to a little... pizzeria kind of place. We're like, okay, we'll just get coffee and talk. And so we tell the guys behind the counter, there are men that might follow us in here. We don't know them. They are very drunk. Don't let them stay. And we sit, and all of a sudden, here come the boys, and they come in, and then we go, that's them. They don't do anything about it. And they come to our table. Why don't you want to hang out with us? And they're getting grabby and pokey, and we're like, can you call the cops? Can you call the cops? And so we were trying to just threaten them. We didn't really think the cops come. And the boys were like, oh, don't call the cops. And they scurried away and went to a table. And then, I'm not kidding, here comes the guy running in. My girlfriend died in the bath. He ran in. He went right in my face and was screaming it. And I almost started to cry. I was shaking. And then finally, the pizza place people called the cops. The cops come and they drag the women out. They come to our table and they're like, is that them? They're like, yup. And they're like, and we're like, what the fuck? And they're like, come on outside. And they're screaming. And I go, I'm not going. You'll have to physically drag me. So he takes my arm and physically drags me. And I just kind of go limp and I just let him drag me. And I'm like, I go outside and I go, excuse me, these men have been harassing us all night. He goes, no, calm down. You're hysterical. I go, no, I'm not. I'm being fucking harassed. Meanwhile, I'm not joking. As he's calling me hysterical, the guy with the girlfriend down in the bath is still on the street. He's more hysterical and I'm going, he's losing his shit. And I go, that guy's hysterical. He goes, you got him that way. I go, no, I didn't. And I go, how come? I go, have you ever been sexually harassed, sir? He goes, your personal history with sexual harassment has nothing to do with this. I go, oh, I fucking think it has everything to do with this. Because that's why I'm so fucking angry right now. Because I can't go out fucking once. Women can't do shit. It's like it's fucking Saudi Arabia everywhere. Like, we can't go out without getting bothered all the time. And he's like, calm down. That's not true. You're exaggerating. I'm sure there have been some nights you went out where people weren't harassing you. I go, you're being a dick. And he was like, and he goes, I go, women, I go, this shit leads to rape. And he goes, oh, come on. I go, have you been raped? He goes, yes, I have. I go, fuck you, you haven't. And I'm like, I'm talking to a policeman and I'm abroad and maybe not, I am abroad, but I'm also abroad. I'm in the UK and perhaps I shouldn't get my passport taken away or arrested. But he doesn't seem to care that I'm saying, fuck you. I don't believe you've been raped. You're a dick. And so I go, he goes, what do you want me to do tonight? I go, I want you to just tell those guys to leave. I go, but now I'm in such a bad mood. I want to hang out with my friends anyway. And I go, can I just leave? Or like, do I have to go to jail or something? And he goes, you can go. And I go, I'm getting out of here. And I just walked home. And that was it. And I told the girls, I was like, I'm going to go. I didn't realize we could just walk away from cops here. And they were like, all right, bye. And then they stayed and argued with him for an hour. They emailed me later and they're like, we finally got him to admit that maybe the guys were harassing us. And then like they all left peacefully. And I was like, what is like, not only is that white privilege, I guess, but it's also, I guess, a bizarre world of cops that don't exist here. Like, I didn't know you could say, I don't care that you got raped or I don't believe you, you're being a dick. I don't think I could say that to a cop here and have it go so well and just have him go like, get out of here, you rascal. But so on one hand, I appreciate that they didn't do shit about, I mean, the guys in the sense that they didn't do shit about me. I mean, the guys didn't do anything to them. They were just being drunk guys. I was the one that was like, fuck you, you're a dick. So, but, well, it's just like the lyrics to that Who song, I guess. I just realized. I woke up in a Soho doorway. The policeman knew my name. He said, you'll get your sleep at home tonight if you can get up and walk away. Okay. So, I don't like that story because I feel like it makes me seem crazy, which I think the reason it does is because I was acting crazy. Today I went to get my watch fixed. Great. It's already amazing. What an amazing night of tales. And I went in and another guy at the store that wasn't the guy fixing my watch goes, you have a really cool voice. And I go, oh, thanks. And it was really raspy this morning because the fucking acid reflux and it's not getting better. And I said, thanks. And he goes, really? Do you know that? And I go, oh no, I know about my voice. Yeah. And he goes, it's so different. I go, yeah, it's damaged from acid in my esophagus. It's coming up backwards for 5 years undetected. So yeah, it's, I hate my voice. And he goes, it's really cool. I go, yeah, no. He goes, do you do voiceover? I go, no, because actually I stopped getting voiceover work when my voice started getting bad years ago because I don't have any range. I go, I really don't want to talk about it though. And he said, well, you should do something with your voice. I go, oh, I speak for a living. That's what, yeah, comedian. And, it hinders what I do, actually, this voice, because it's medical. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. But I kept saying more shit just to see, will this shut him the fuck up? And it didn't. And so he was like, oh, do you play Flappers in Burbank? Not that there's anything wrong with it. But it is a comedy club, if you don't know, that I believe they don't pay. I don't mean to say it in a slanderous way. But if they do pay, it's like, it's your gas money or, you know what I mean? Maybe it's $50. I don't even know if it's that. But what people don't know who don't do comedy is you don't make a living doing it in LA. That's never the goal. You live in LA because you're working in well, you're auditioning for sitcoms or whatever you're doing on the side, and then you run your sets at the Improv, at the other places, at little alternative rooms to get your material going, to be part of your community, to get seen. Everything's seen as a showcase. You won't get paid, but people will see you, and it actually is true. Where you make your money, obviously, is going on tour. And so I go, no, I don't really do it. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, it's a choice. I go, I tour the world. And he goes, well, maybe, he didn't say maybe you wouldn't have to. He goes, maybe if you got in there, you could take a break from that sometimes. No, I can't. Unless I want to make $50 a year, I cannot do that. But thank you for the suggestion. Nobody should first of all, no one should talk to comedians. Never talk to comedians. You're never right. Not you guys. There's not its own audience listening at home. You're never right. Don't stop. Okay, that's all I want to say. We have some I Seem Fun updates. And I don't know, see, I barely remember stuff, so maybe you guys will. This is a follow-up to a guy. Do you remember, there was a listener email a few months ago. This guy, I don't remember. Let's just read the email. Hi, Jen, you can read my name. I heard you read an inspiring follow-up email, and I thought I'd share. I heard you read an okay. Many months ago, I emailed you. This is from Robin. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Many months ago, I emailed you looking for guidance as I was dating a guy I'd spent many years off and on with who was bad for me. I was also in love with a friend. I sent the email, forgot about it. I think to me, she meant. Then after a trip away with my friends at Easter this year, I was driving home alone. Sad my boyfriend didn't attend yet again. And also a little love struck with a man I'd met there. I was determined when I got home it was over. I was emotional. Then your podcast came on. The episode is Nice Bod, Bad Couch. And I had to pull over when you read my letter. I was sobbing. That week I left him, and I also happened to have booked seats for my girlfriends and I at your show. I had told my girlfriends that week going to your show was a very special experience for me, and they were keen to find out why exactly. It's supposed to be in Australian, because I think that was April. Yeah. Anyway, you were right about the friend also. I don't know what I said. It sounds great. We have stayed loving friends. I am single and enjoying the ups and downs of that experience. But importantly, I have my confidence building, and I feel inner peace and happiness within myself. I honestly do. I hope all your listeners who feel trapped in love with someone they shouldn't be with get the courage from my story to walk out and move on. Like the pink skirt girl, Rob. I don't remember that one. But I hope you're all inspired by that story. This is a story about, I got a bad review in England from the Guardian newspaper. I didn't read it, but someone told me who did read it said, Jen, I read the Guardian review of your show. The author mentions 9/11 in the very first line and then again later. I'd call that a win. Love your podcast. Okay. Oh, and I'm flying for my first time on 9/11 since 9/11 from JFK to LAX this year. Fun. You don't know how badly I want something to happen so I can take a break. No, not to die, but just like like a mini threat that we have to land early or something. And then I'm like, oh, I'm so upset. I need time off. Do you think they're releasing Sully on September 9th because of we're in the plain kind of New York mood in September 11th week? Because they could have released it Labor Day. That's when people go to movies. What do you think? Yes. Did someone just say whoa? Oh, no. Did you say what or whoa? Oh. I thought you were like, whoa, like I just blew your mind. Okay. This is about being an I Seem Fun person at my show. I'm sitting at home after your book tour show in Vancouver. Wanted to share a little story from today. Loved your show. Blah, blah, blah. I was really excited for the show, as lately I've been especially enjoying your podcast. I always think it's great, but the two most recent just really hit me. Especially the one called By the Time I Get ... where you talk about the wonderful, idealized version you have in your head of the podcast listeners. It was such a lovely sentiment, and it left me just grinning away while I walked around town. Anyways, I showed up at the Rio, that's the venue I performed, pretty early, as I work close by, and I figured I'd just go straight there. I got in soon after the doors opened, and I thought, what the hell, and went for a front row seat. I was on my own. There's such a theme here tonight. And So I just grabbed the aisle seat in the main center bank of seats. About a half hour afterwards, I noticed a large, chatty group of women looking to find seats. They all just seemed very tall and blonde, and I immediately was put in the mind of the fuck the haters girl. I then thought that maybe this was a bit too unkind of me, until they asked if I'd be willing to move from my seat to accommodate their late large group. And not just to shift one seat to the side, they suggested I could go to the second row or to the bank of seats to the far left across the aisle if I, quote, still want to be in the front row. I politely declined and they assured me that it was no problem. Outside the theater after the show, I overheard a woman walking next to me tell her friend, there was puke in the women's bathroom at a Jen Kirkman show. Probably that horrible group of drunk women. I realized she was talking about the same group and then confirmed that was the case. It turned out that these two that had been sitting behind me, and then they saw me, these two I Seen Funners had been sitting behind me, and they saw them ask me to move, and they let me know they were rooting for me to deny their request and stay put. I don't know for sure if they were I Seen Funners, but I certainly got that vibe from them. And I was reminded of your sentiment from the podcast. And those drunk girls, I did kick out of the show too. So, thank you. Wait, what's this? Oh, this one's about depression. Oh, wait, here, this one's about, let's do one about perfume and then depression. And then end really quick with, I want each of you, not each of you, but a couple of you that are willing to give advice to this girl about where to meet people, because I don't know. Especially if it's worked for you, if you're in a relationship, you met someone different than like online. Because this person said she tried all the online dating and it's not working. But here's the thing she said. She goes, I usually message them first and don't hear back. And she goes, and I don't even like that stuff anyway. And I'm like, I can just see your emails. Long. They sound long, don't they? I don't normally like this stuff and this and that. And I've never met anyone like, you know, like, I just have a feeling. So anyway, I'm writing from Toronto where I work as a shoemaker. I'm also an artist. I listen to I Seem Fun as I work. It seems like you're someone who takes pleasure and pride in cultivating personal style and clothing and home decor. I'm curious if this attention to aesthetic detail extends to selecting perfumes for body or home. Of fucking course it does. I have a different scented candle in every room with different scents, and it's like madness. And so it's my favorite thing, and I won't tell you the name of the candles because I don't want people to rich bitch me. But they're amazing. And I like things that smell like tobacco and like woodsy and plum and then some lemon, like all different things. Vanilla, I love it. What kind of perfume do you wear? I've been wearing it. My college boyfriend wore it, and I don't know why. It was like an essential oil called Egyptian musk, and I loved how it smelled on him. And I don't think he wears it anymore because he used to be like, hey, I've got feathered hair and I wear bell bottoms. It's 1996. And oh, I loved it. And so I was like, I'm going to take that as my signature scent because I know we're going to break up and or you'll stop wearing it. So I worn that for 20 years. And I get it at the farmer's market here in LA called Essence of Nature. Thanks. That's the name of the brand. That's the name of the store. And then I have Chanel No. 5. It's a classic. And I buy it once every 2 years at some airport or something. Okay. But then I'm always afraid to wear it because remember Marilyn Monroe, that was her campaign? Well, I only wear to bed Chanel No. 5, meaning she sleeps naked, but she was found naked in bed. And so every time I wear Chanel No. 5 and I smell it on me in bed, I'm like, I'm going to die in my sleep. And so, also I probably won't die in my sleep because I didn't take a million pills, nor are the Kennedys trying to get me. So, I told you that. That's a big thing my mother sat me down with when I was a kid. Jennifer, the Kennedys killed Marilyn. That's all you have to know. She knew too much. Bobby would tell her about the mob. I don't know why. They came in and they put like a pen dot in her butt and they made it look like an overdose. I mean, that could be true. She didn't leave a suicide note, so it was probably just an OD, but they called it suicide because I think that was more, is it that was more socially acceptable back then? Suicide was more acceptable than ODing? Because then you would have to admit, oh, she did drugs a lot. Instead of, oh, just that one time. I guess we have to go, okay, so this is a story about doctors. I don't care right now. We'll do it another time. Oh, may I mention to all the listeners listening. I mean, not you guys here. I'm going to be in Buffalo, New York at the Helium Comedy Club. I think they think I'm crazy because a lot of people online were trying to get the show canceled because I tweeted a joke that I guess I wasn't supposed to tweet. I don't know if you knew this. I had a giant scandal on Twitter based on a joke I tweeted that went like this, and this is all the joke said. I like, all caps, that Hillary Clinton's killed a bunch of people. That was it. I got thousands of people attacking me. They put it on Reddit. I blocked 600 people, and I now no longer run my own Twitter. I won't even look at it because it literally became a hate mob, and then all these articles were written about it, and people were like, die, fuck you, you can't. And then they were like, basically what it was, I don't care if you like Hillary or don't, but the thing of like every day someone dies and they're like, Hillary had him killed. Like I was talking about all those people they say she has killed. Like he used to work at the census. Now he's dead, and it's like, or Vince Foster. It's kind of like an old 90s joke about everything old is new again. Like everything they say is like she killed people. I wasn't talking about Benghazi or whatever. I wasn't talking about actual people that may have died. By the way, she was never the fucking president. Like she didn't order the deaths of anybody. Well, I can't get into it. But everyone in any administration, Secretary of State, President, you're all under the umbrella of the people that make decisions. People die. I'm sorry to tell everyone, every president has blood on his hands. Every Secretary of State does. I don't know what to tell you. So, but the joke was not about those rumors. It was about. And so all these people attacked it. It was these young, they call themselves, I can't even say what they call themselves because they get mad when old people say it. So they call themselves social justice warriors, or they don't like being called that. I don't really know what the whole thing is, but I've had people turn on me, big fans of mine. Someone started an account the other day called Delete Jen Kirkman, and it said, what if Hillary killed her? I actually got it suspended. I've never been able to get an account suspended, but there was an actual death threat on it, so yay, Twitter. And that will stop the person in real life from shooting me, I'm sure. So anyway, so they were tweeting the Helium Comedy Club in Buffalo, like, you're going to support someone who makes jokes about dead people of color. And so this girl, like this hysterical teenager, wrote me, real funny joke about how Hillary has dead babies. I bet all the dead babies that died under Hillary would love to be at your shows and laugh. And I go, so I was just fucking with her because that's a crazy teenage thing to say to a grown woman about politics, right? I don't care if you don't like Hillary. You would not say that, right? Can we all agree? I retweeted it and wrote, I don't want a bunch of dead Afghanistan babies at my shows. That's weird. Or something like that. Oh my God. And then I deleted it not because I was ashamed, but I'm like, I'm just bringing more on myself. And then with these kids, they think you delete it because you're scared of them. And I was just like, I don't want any more shit. And they took pictures of it. She deleted it. And she was doing this. And so it went a whole thing. And so the Helium Comedy Club, I think, is like, what the fuck? They don't want to be involved. So to the people at home, please tweet at the Helium Comedy Club if you're coming. Just find their address on Twitter. They're one of my favorite clubs in the country. And just say, I'm coming to see Jen Kirkman and I'm so excited. And at me and at them. Please do it for me. And if you are coming but haven't got your tickets yet, just say I'm going to get the tickets at the door. Just let them know people are coming. And that date is September 8th through 10th. So there'll be 5 shows. And then Portland, Oregon, I'm there the 15th, 16th, and 17th. There's a live I Seem Fun taping on Thursday the 15th. And then Labor Day weekend, Scottsdale, Arizona, stand-up Scottsdale, September 1st through 3rd. I think it's a great thing if you have tickets to any of these, not you guys, to tweet the clubs. I am coming to see Jen Kirkman. Thanks for booking her. I'm so excited. Not that you need to thank them like my agent makes them. It's not a big deal. But I want them to feel the love because they've been getting so much abuse from the kids online. And so... yeah, so that's why if you ever tweet at me, I don't see it anymore, so I apologize for that. I don't know when I'm going to be back because I can't take it. The other joke, so what they did, and then they go back through your history of tweets. So 2 years ago, when I was upset, it was August 2015. I guess we must have been, I don't even remember now, we must have been talking about going to war with Iran maybe, or maybe it was when Obama was negotiating or something, and people were like, we should go to war instead. So I wrote as an anti-war joke, and you can tell when I write, any comedian or any person writes something in all lowercase, like I think that implies like sarcasm and silliness, or like this is a character I'm doing, not me. I wrote, I think we should go to war in Iran. We always go to Iraq. Try something new, fun. And they go, look what she wrote. Look what she wrote. They literally put it on Reddit. Thousands of people were passing it around. I kept refreshing my feed and I was like, oh my God, it wouldn't stop. And I said, it was satire or irony or whatever the fuck it is. And they go, but the victims of the jokes are the dead people. I go, no, the victims of the joke, no victims. The joke is on the power structure that we just invade everywhere and how many times and how flip we are to everything. That's the joke. I'm not saying I'm anything like George Carlin, but it's in that spirit, right? that kind of comedy telling. I'm a light years away from it, but it's, and they're like, she's trying to be edgy and she's not. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be edgy. And they literally, I'm sorry that there's young people here listening. Your generation, maybe not you, you don't understand fucking humor. And it's scaring me. It's what I remember on 9/11 in New York. Yes, organically I have a story about it. Everyone was like, is irony dead? Is humor dead? And a week later, everyone was like, fuck no. And everyone was at the comedy clubs. And we were laughing. We were laughing about 9/11. When people had died, we could still smell the bodies. And we're laughing about it. Don't you fucking 20-year-olds tell me when to fucking make jokes, you stupid. Oh, I hope Hillary's president and that she is a crazy warmonger and she blows up the world because you don't deserve to grow up. I fucking hate them. I fucking hate them. I could bring Trump in. Then we really know he's going to do it. Bring him in. Let him be. We've all lived a good life, right? Let these fucks shit their pants when he's president. And guess what we'll do? We'll make fun of them. Sorry I got so mad. I was gonna read an email, but I guess I won't. I'm selling some merchandise after the show. I have copies of my book for $20. It's $4 cheaper than you would get at the bookstore if you want to buy it. And I have I Seem Fun mugs and posters. But right now, before we go, I am going to ask people, does anyone here feel like they have a really good idea of where a girl can meet a guy who doesn't like online dating and doesn't drink a lot? And if you have examples of how this worked for you, great. If it's just an idea, that's fine too. I will come around with my microphone so that you can talk directly to your fellow I Seem Funner. Please do it for them. Anyone raise your hand if you have any advice. Not one person. How about like bad advice even? If it's just like, something must have come into your head. Like something popped in your head and you went, no, that's dumb. Just even that. Yes. Where are you? What's your name? Oh, you're a comic. Okay. But you still have a name. Jackie Fabulous. Hi, Jackie Fabulous. Okay, tell everyone. Sorry, the mic's not straight.
That's okay.
Jackie Fabulous, tell everyone in I Seem Funland your website address and Twitter and where people can find you.
JackieFabulous.com. All the social media is Jackie Fabulous.
Wonderful. Okay, go see Jackie Fabulous. Now tell me where she should meet a man.
A girlfriend of mine did a Recycle Your Ex party. And she did it a few years ago, and then it became a regular thing, and now she's trying to really do it on a permanent basis. And you just have to be okay with, yeah. And I've never done it because personally, any ex that I have, I wouldn't want to refer him because I don't want to close the door if he's worthy of dating one of my friends. If he,
oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
If he's a fuck up, then he can go to this party and have a great time.
Right. I love that idea. All right, Recycle Your Ex party. That's funny, too. If he's a fuck up, yeah, I'll give him to my friend. Anyone else have any ideas? Yes. Oh, this is the woman who had the 60-person wedding and was very kind to her guests at the singles table. Yes.
Hi. I met my husband at a vegan dinner party that was weekly in LA every Tuesday night, and people would just bring wine, and it was like a bunch of interesting people talking around the table.
And how did you meet these fellow vegans, or were they not vegans, but they just had a vegan dinner?
It was just like a vegan chef that was like a 4-course amazing meal, and then like not vegans and non-vegans would come. It was at this venue called HM 157 in Lincoln Heights.
And so how'd you find out about it?
My friend's friend was the chef. The dinners no longer happen there, but I bet there's other similar stuff that happens. Yeah. And then also they still have other events there. And it's like a bunch of like adults who like go to this party. It's not like annoying young people.
Well, this person is 22 and doesn't live in LA, so that's a great idea for no, but I think that's great. Like something like that. See, these are ideas I think are good. Anyone else before we end? This person's going to not ever get laid if you don't help them. What do you think? I thought a bookstore. Is that crazy? Yes. It's dumb, right? Okay. What about a cute guy that works at the coffee shop? This one girl's nodding. Why is that a bad idea? Because then you have to like talk to him. Do I watch too many Hallmark Christmas movies? No, there isn't. That's. Oh, they're starting so fucking soon. I can't fucking wait. I hung out with some actors. Well, they're more a friend of a friend, and they've all been like, "Oh yeah, we get straight up offers to be in them." I'm like, "What?" And they're like successful and well known for other things, so they're like, "Well, I can't do that." I'm like, "Really? Oh my god, it's my dream." Anyway, well, I'm sorry to the person out there. you know my advice. Take a year off, and then they'll come flocking. And if they don't, well, go to a vegan dinner. All right, well, this has been a pleasure. Sorry I got so mad at I feel so free and comfortable with you guys, and then that's going to be released into the world, and it's going to start the whole thing up again. So don't, tweet about it if anyone's out there. Just let it be underground. I wonder if I should take that out. If me going, I hope Hillary blows up the world. It's that's pretty blatant. I know. I just don't want to get killed, but I probably will. All right, anyway, have a great week. I'll see you outside if you want to buy something. Bye. Oh, until next week, have fun. Thank you, Dax. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone at the Improv.
I see the diary of Jen Kirkman.